Warning. This podcast is about the horror genre, specifically horror films. As most horror movies are filled with coarse language, violence, and/or gore, the topics and language of the cast of the pod will also reflect the genre. If you have any issues with the aforementioned warnings, please press stop. But if you have no issue with adult language, movie violence, or the accoutrement that accompanies horror films, please feel free to continue. You have been warned.
A what?
What is that? Ew.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Cast of the Pod. We're doing a video cast today, joined by our co-host Cob Web. How you doing, Cob?
I'm all good today. Feeling very lovely and blessed.
Awesome. And down here in the 106-degree weather, it's myself, Josh, and
Deb. Hello. I can wave now.
The funny thing is I'm turning around because I don't know if you can see it on the camera. She's actually sitting behind me on the other side of the room.
Oh, this is how we rolling.
Oh, yes, sir. But
I'm sitting in the corner.
Today we're going to be talking about a movie from 1976. I was a year old when this movie came out. And,
Youngster.
Yes, sir. And Cob Web, you brought this movie up, and at the time I thought I hadn't seen it, but come to find out I have seen this movie before. But you want to tell us a little bit about JD's Revenge?
Where do you begin? It's in a complete different era of today in movies, dialect and social consciousness than anything right now today. It's about a guy named, I forgot what's the leading actor's name.
Isaac.
Isaac. Isaac. He's working as a cab driver. Yep. And he is going to school to be a lawyer, and his wife is helping him to get past the bar. Right. And one of their friends goes out, is getting married, I believe it is. And they're having a party. They go out for a party tonight and they go out to kick it.
Yep.
Nice little double date. And they end up going into one of these little spots off in New Orleans, on the strip, and they're doing hypnotism. And he gets hypnotized and possessed at the same time. Yes.
The doorway was opened. Let's talk real quick. That was something that we noticed with this movie. Back in the day, we had NBC down here, and late night, what would happen was, TV used to turn off. I know these youngsters now don't know about how TV would end at the end of the night, and then it was just static. What I used to want to do was catch cartoons early in the morning on Saturdays, so I'd stay up all night. And late night on NBC, they would have the late night movies. And back then, it was a different world, and that's when I saw JD's Revenge. I didn't realize what it was until the old lady doing donuts in the cab scene, and then I was like, I know this movie. Yes.
She's like, help me.
but this movie, it started off showing JD Walker and Betty Jo. I didn't know at the time that Betty Jo was his sister.
No, I did not know that either.
Right.
It plays out very well.
It walks straight into it. They're in they call it the killing floor, which it's like a butcher house. I don't know, was it a butcher shop, butchery, or just where they slaughterhouse. Yeah, butcher house. What am I thinking? But she's talking to some other guy, and he walks in and she's threatening the guy. I'm going to tell, I can't remember his name. Lou Gossett.
Right. That's before he started changing it to Lou Gossett
Elijah.
Jr.
Before Junior, yes.
Is it Elijah?
Before Junior.
I think it was Elijah.
Yes,
Reverend Bliss. So she's like, I'm going to tell him that it's not his baby, that it's your baby. And then he just picks up that straight razor and slits her across the throat.
She's like, "You're not gonna do nothing.
You're not gonna do anything." And that cut looks so clean and so real.
It did.
It just, man, and this is into the first like 3 minutes of the movie.
It goes hardcore real quick.
And I'll tell you what though, that cut that they did on her neck was the best like graphic they did in the whole movie. Because like when they show JD's scar and everything else, it's all just like orange, and the applications of everything. Hers looked real. It looked like they really cut her neck, and it just,
yeah, it still had that cheesy 70 blood though.
Yes, that thick bright red that looks like poster paint. You remember when they used to sell poster paints?
Yeah, it did. Old school stuff, man.
Yeah, man,
used to scare the hell out of me though.
Hey, but you know what though? When they were showing the slaughtering of the cows, it looked like they were really slaughtering a cow. Yes. Ready for processing, because it was that dark maroon blood, and you see the knife getting stuck up in there, and yeah,
they probably went.
That was real.
To the butcher, the slaughterhouse, and they're like, "We're gonna just record y'all. So we're just gonna work. Y'all work. Don't mind us."
It was in the 70s when they were really killing dogs and birds and cows and shit like that. It just.
They did anything back in the 70s. Remember, see, that's one thing about JD's Revenge is pretty crazy, because this would have fallen, in my ideas, would have fell into like the, at first it was like a black exploitation film.
Right.
You know, but I think that the acting in the movie transcended it past that.
Yes.
Concept. Because there were some pretty good actors in that movie.
There is, and we'll get to it when we get to the end of the movie. This movie just completely changed, because I remembered the taxi scene. I remember the scene later on when he confronts him in the church, and there's stuff like that I remember, but I didn't remember how it ended. And this movie ends completely different than you would think, you know, because I asked a whole bunch of people if they had seen this movie. Nobody remembers this movie, and my one buddy over at One Up Gaming and One Up Entertainment. Right? Is gaming and entertainment? One Up Entertainment.
One Up Entertainment.
Okay.
And that's where I go to pick up my DVDs and my Blu-rays and all that stuff. And he told me, he goes, "Oh yeah, it's that pimp movie that I can never keep it in stock." And I told him, I was like, "He's not a pimp. He's a hustler. There's a difference." He goes, "Well, everybody always comes in and they're like, I want that pimp movie."
He was a street hustler.
Yeah.
Right? Pimping was not out of JD's repertoire.
Right. but he was more than that. He was
he had a full diet of everything.
Yeah. So here's the thing that caught me off guard. So you didn't know that they were brother and sister at the beginning of the movie. You didn't know what was going on. And so he walks in, sees this guy slitting her throat. He runs up to her. You can tell that he cares for her. I honestly thought that was his wife or his girl.
Right.
And you don't see any of his bad self and anything that he's done wrong or anything like that. You just see a man that's caring for this woman that just got her neck cut. And then he runs up to her. He goes to pick her up. He sees that she's bleeding out and dying. Right. And then he hears somebody behind him, and he turns around, pulls out his straight blade, his straight razor. Right. And then it's Lou Gossett. Not yet Junior.
Right.
And he's yelling at a murderer, because now he's seeing the mother of his child dead on the floor. And here's JD with literally blood on his hands and a razor in his other hand.
Yeah.
And then who we find out later, Theotis, which is the brother of Gossip, excuse me, who was the one that actually slit her throat, shoots JD. Right there, and this is in the first 5 minutes of the movie. We hadn't even got into anything. We're still on that
We're
first
just
scene.
We're seeing the whole hardship of JD straight off and play out in front of us.
Right, and so that's how he dies. And this was like in the 20s or in the 40s? 40s.
It goes in the 40s.
40s.
Yeah, and then we cut to 76, and then that's when we run into Isaac and his friends. And that's what I wanted to talk about. They go out on a night on the town. I don't know if I'm looking strange because I got you on this side over here, but then the camera's over here. So if I'm looking off to the side, I'm actually.
I know it's the same way over here.
Oh, okay, cool. So they go out for a night on the town because they kind of show like she's getting a little fresh with him, and he's like, nah, I don't want to do anything. I got a headache right now because he's so busy because he's always working, he's always studying, he's trying to get everything done. And then so you see his character. He's just worried about work and school. That's what he's trying to get done.
And he was a very peaceful man. Remember when they were playing that football game? He was the one that broke up the argument. Yes. He was the diffuser.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Everybody wearing those way too short shorts too, by the way.
Oh my God! Like straight out of Rocky.
But so then he decides, she talks him into going out with the friends, and I think it's like their 1 year anniversary or gonna get married, something like that. And the thing that caught me and Deb off guard. Deb, you back there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm listening.
The first thing they go to is a strip club. Those are some good ladies right there.
The ladies looked like they were more into it than the guys were.
Yeah.
I was like, they were all dancing and smiling and the other.
I don't think they called them. I don't think that was considered a strip club back in the 70s.
That's what Josh said.
I think that was called a. Was it like a? It wasn't just a topless dance. It was like a gigolo club or a. It was a different name for it, because they weren't really stripping. They were just dancers.
The go-go dancers, like
go-go dancers.
Yeah, because that was just part of the club. They had music going on, they had drinks and all that, and there just happened to be some titties off in the corners and all that.
Yeah. The guys like it ain't no big deal. I thought I saw a little bush here and there. But
yes. Well, see, I think his friend's name was Chris. Chris is looking around and he turns around and he looks at that one girl in the corner, and Isaac is like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" He smacks him. He's like, "Your lady's right here." So that's another thing showing how Isaac is, how straight-laced he is. He's worried about school, he's worried about the taxi, his job, and he's worried about, offending his lady and his friend's lady also. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. Isaac is a really good guy. Everybody likes Isaac.
Yes. So now we get into the horror part of this. And as opposed to the one that we've got coming up this week. Today is actually the 10th of July that we're recording this. And this Wednesday, we got The Conjuring coming out. That's one that you did with us. And it's not that type of horror film. This is like how you said how it's labeled as a black exploitation film. It's more than that. This movie, we'll get to it when we get to the end and all that. But there's so many different levels of this movie that... we were watching it, and Deb tells me, "Is this a horror movie?" It's more of a psychological horror movie.
Those are the best ones to me.
Because that's what messes you up. Because what gets to you in your mind, and you put that in your head, and that's what triggers stuff for you. So they're at they leave clubs. They're walking down the strip. They go into another place, and they have barkers at the club saying, "Hey, come in. We got these deals. We got these specials, whatever." And they bring them in, into a hypnotist show. That's what you're saying. And he gets hypnotized, and right in the middle of it, that's when the screen kind of flashes like a tangerine color. And that whenever that tangerine hits, that's when JD comes in. And that I wish they kind of would have talked about why JD picked him, or maybe.
Yeah, just how did he get picked for that?
Yeah, because
I think one of the cops even asked that when they were talking about JD. They're like, "Well, what's the connection to?" But they never explained it.
I think that it might have been that he might have been, because he was so tired because he was working on everything else. His mind wasn't, he didn't have any defenses up for some type of invasion like that.
Yeah.
Because he left yourself open toward, to things when you're getting hypnotized, to suggestions. So you're in a different relaxed state. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That completely makes sense. He left the door open and JD stepped in.
With a vengeance.
So do you remember the first time JD takes over?
It wasn't.
Well, it's when he hit his girlfriend or his wife, isn't it?
No, it wasn't with the. Was it with the car?
I'm thinking it was with the car. Because you know what? One of the things else I liked about it.
Oh yeah, well when he saw the hat, and that's when he was waiting in the taxi and he got off and he bought the hat.
Yes.
And then that's when the lady was in there, and then he went and did donuts.
Big rim older lady, and
That's
she's right in the back of the taxi. That's what I was gonna say though. What I liked about it was this was back when taxi drivers still had a uniform.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the brown bomber on, the cap.
Yeah.
With the pencil behind the ear, no pad.
Reminds me of the TV show Taxi, you know?
Right.
But so he's got her in the car, and then she's just chirping away in his ear, and he just goes out in the middle. He's cutting through traffic. This is back in the mid 70s also, where people are just like,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Wait. Here's a crucial part, though.
Uh-oh.
What was he listening to when he was in the car with her?
I don't know. What was he listening to?
Was he listening to
He
something?
was listening to the sermon from Lou Gossett Jr.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what triggered it.
Reverend Bliss woke him up.
Once he heard Reverend Bliss, it started him, the JD started coming out.
And that's when the old lady Man.
That part scared me.
How did that scare you?
Because she was like scared for her life.
She's in the back of the taxi like this, doing the Star Trek selling of where she's going. And then forehead first into the glass. And that was back when they didn't have this shatterproof glass like how we have now. It was just like a sheet of glass, like it broke. She had she had that chunk right there in her head. And he kicked her off to the side. Then
and them leather bucket seats, them leather bench seats,
just straight
sliding all around.
Yes,
no seat belt back in the 70s in the back seats.
And then he pulls her out of the taxi, dumps her off right there on the side. They're about not the wharf, but they're at the docks, right?
Yeah.
And he opens her purse, starts digging in her purse, gets some money, and then he's like, chunks the money back off at her.
I told Josh, did he just throw the money back at her?
It wasn't worth his time.
JD.
So
then he gets
on that part. Can I say what really scared me?
Yes.
What?
So Friday I had a doctor's appointment, but and Josh, I didn't have a ride, and I told Josh, well, I'm gonna have to change my doctor's appointment. He's like, just take an Uber. I said, no, I'm not gonna take an Uber. What if something happens to me when I take an Uber? And he's like, what's gonna happen to you? I said, I don't know. What if the Uber driver, he's gonna know where we live, and he does something to me, he's gonna kill me, and then you're gonna have a guilty conscience because you didn't take me to the doctor. He said, nothing like that's gonna happen. And then we see JD's revenge the following day. And I said, you see, what if JD would have went into the Uber driver and he would have did that to me?
This is what I got to deal with.
And you just said nothing like that happens. Look at that.
It's a movie, Deborah. It's a movie.
Yes, but what a coincidence. I just finished telling you. What if the Uber driver did something to me?
Well, then you give him a 1-star rating in the app.
I can't because I'd be dead. I'd bang my head on the windshield or in the window because he's driving in donuts.
Oh, man. This is supposed to be a horror podcast.
It was a horror podcast. That's horror. I'm scared. I'm not going to take an Uber.
Oh,
you never know.
Okay.
JD might be getting revenge for something else.
That's what I'm saying. Give him a 1-star rating on the app.
I've been in some bad Uber cars, so I'm with you on that one, Deb. I was in one guy. It was a black. I remember it was like a black sedan. They said, but it was actually a yellow cab because they painted it black.
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like they spray painted it. And it was just the guy was driving down like the divider lines, and people were honking at us trying to get us off the road. So that was my JD's revenge. I've had my JD's revenge.
No.
It can happen. See, aren't you glad that I didn't take an Uber?
Yes.
And nothing happened to me, and then you would have a guilty conscience. It'd have been I should have taken her to the doctor instead. I'm just saying.
Oh, so. Then after he's had a little bit of JD in his life, he gets home, and his lady's there, and then she gets a little bit of JD in her life.
She said she had the hat. She found the hat.
Oh, did she get mad? It was a nice
he
hat.
got mad because she put the hat on.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I thought she looked cute in the hat.
He snatched it off her head, and she was like, "Oh." There's that scene. There's that
She was
scene.
shocked. Oh.
And then so I'm trying to find a nice way to say he tears it up. And I'm not talking about the hat. And she's all happy about that. And then the next day,
She didn't look like she enjoyed that too much.
Yeah.
well, that was the 70s. That's how they showed how women enjoyed it back then. I'm just
I think we both had the same.
Oh my God.
oh man.
So it looked like to me that JD was going through the back door.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking because the look on her face, because she did not seem like she was enjoying that at all.
Maybe. But the next day, she's all happy. She's giving him that look and everything like that. And then he's just like smacks her and then throws her out the house.
Man, he hit her really hard too. Cause did you see like the next day she had that like a big ball on the side of her face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
What did
hit
she
her.
say? She had said something to him to piss him off.
I think
I think she yelled at him.
I can't remember what it
And
was.
she was cooking. And she told him something.
so
She yelled at him.
So I can't remember what it is that triggered. Later on, she triggers him because she's making fun of his hair because he gets his hair done processed and everything like that.
Oh,
She's like, why'd you do to your hair?
Yeah.
But so there's two scenes in this movie. One when he snatches the hat off her head, and she just kind of like she looks at him like, ooh, like she looks like she likes the assertiveness that he got. And then when he's talking to his friend Chris, and he's like, you know what? He goes, the ladies like that when you smack them around and put them in
What
the.
the hell?
He says, I'm not judging you for that. That's what they need sometimes.
Yo, dude.
I was
Like,
Like
they like it when you slap them around every now and then.
It's like 1976.
Man, 76, boy. Man. I don't even know what to say about that right there.
Now we are officially saying here on the Cast of the Pod that the Cast of the Pod does not condone the smacking of the ladies, even if it was
we love the
1976.
ladies.
Yes, definitely.
We love the ladies.
Definitely. Even if I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But where do we go from there? Man, this movie.
I mean, his whole, because he changed, and she was like, she did not want to believe that he was like that.
Right.
She did not want to believe that because it didn't make any sense. And remember, he kept having those headaches.
yeah.
And he kept telling them over and over again that something's wrong with me.
He even went to the doctor.
Yes, he
even
did go
asked
to the
her.
doctor.
And they're like, oh.
What did the doctor tell him?
That he was stressed.
And what did he need to do?
First of all, the way he told him, I don't think it's no high blood pressure. I don't think it's no hypertension. I think that you're stressing out too much. And I'm like, that's blood pressure and hypertension. That's how it was in 1976. It's just like, no. He goes, you just need to relax. You need to go smoke some weed.
I'm like, where can I get that, doctor?
76.
Oh my God.
Man, what doctor tells you this? At a regular, physician, Oh, he was at a college. So, doctors at colleges, anything can happen.
Yeah. See, but that's what going back to it. That's one of the things about here on Cast of the Pod. We jump around the movies and all that. And you brought it up right now. Deb, you did too. He was telling everybody how he was going through this stuff, and he was reaching out and he was looking for help. Mm-hmm. And all his friends, his friend and his wife, the friend's wife, and his girl later on in the movie, even though he's turning into JD, even though he's doing all these bad things, all these horrible things, they still want to help him because they still say,
it's not him.
It's not him. We know it's not him. It's not like battered wife syndrome or anything like that. I know something's wrong with him. He was reaching out to us and we let him down.
Man.
They're still pointing that out. There's still that source of support that you don't see in movies. You don't see in life.
Yeah.
No. Some people just be done with you, but the type of person Isaac was that, you probably get your shirt off your back if you needed it.
Yep.
But they had to step up for it.
But then
they probably felt bad because as far he slipped and he was telling them that he needed their help.
Yes. And then her name, I have it in the notes. Her name is Christella. That's his girl's name. Here comes her ex-husband, who's a police officer. And he's like, he hit you. I need to kill him. He even goes to his chief. He's like, if I find him first, he's dead. I'm putting a bullet in him.
That just means he didn't want him. He still wanted her.
That means he never got over her.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. She got over him, but he never. I don't know what he was still trying to impress.
She kept telling him no.
No. He's like that. What was that song by the Doobie Brothers? I keep forgetting.
No. No. Is that the song?
I keep forgetting that we're not in love anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's him.
You had the right song.
Okay. But I'm trying to remember in the movie. So the story is going back to it. The story is that they run into Reverend Bliss as he's becoming more and more JD, and somebody goes to attack Reverend Bliss, and Isaac happens to be there, and he separates them, and he kind of saves them from just like a crazy person there at the church.
Yeah.
And then so Bliss, who's Lou Gossett Jr., kind of, I don't know if he befriends him or if he starts trusting him.
It's kind of both.
And then his right-hand man, who's his brother, Theotis, is like, I don't like this guy. He's off the streets. We don't know nothing about him. And Bliss is like, God sent him to us. He's here. I trust him. And then what does he do? He lets him go off with his daughter.
Well, him and JD had a connection. So he probably felt like there was a bond between them from that because him and JD were cool.
Yes. Man, it's different now that we're on camera. I can't be picking my nose or anything.
Oh, man.
Or waving at her going, say something. No, but
there's one thing that we didn't touch on about this with JD.
What's that?
When Isaac was there was those scenes with him and his old lady when he was really acting like JD were pretty hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Literally when he slapped her, don't forget about that. He did throw her out the house in her underwear
without no pants on. Yeah.
Yeah, I just threw her outside, like, get out. That's hardcore. Who does that? You just throw your woman out on the street with no clothes on?
You're like,
and then he kind of like slinked next to the door and he was like, yeah, she knows now. She knows.
I just taught her a lesson.
Oh man. But so we find out that Theotis, who's now, Reverend Bliss is completely straight. As straight as running a church can be. So he's there, and Theotis is the right hand man. Bliss is the face, and Theotis is kind of like running the business of the church.
Right. I think they call him like the deacon or something.
Yes. And so the actress that played Betty Jo is the same actress that plays the daughter now. According to IMDb.
I never caught that. As many times as I saw this movie, I've never caught that.
Yeah, according to IMDb, she played both parts.
I never caught that.
That's why they didn't have to get two people with the pretty eyes.
She did have pretty eyes. That's like the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, look at her eyes.
So this is when I realized that Betty Jo and JD were related, that they were brother and sister. All right, so that's when he gets home. I don't know what her name was when she was younger, when she plays the daughter. Do you know, Deborah?
I don't remember.
Let me get on the IMDb real quick.
She was a promiscuous little thing, though.
Yes, Roberta. She plays
Roberta.
Yeah. The actress's name is Alice Joubert. But yeah, Roberta, she gets him home and like takes her top off and all that. And he's like, nope, it's not going to happen. And then afterwards, I even told Deborah, I was like, how come JD's backing down because that's his niece. He knows that's his niece. And that's when they kind of flash to the grave and it says JD Walker and the they're not graves, they're the shelves, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the cover, and then it says Betty Jo Walker. And it was like, oh, they're related.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't his girl, that's his sister or somebody like that. But yeah, it's his sister. That
was pretty wild because she didn't even know him. She just took him home that day.
Like straight from church.
Preacher's daughter.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Is the crazed preacher's daughter there?
Man, she was a wild one.
And her dad let her.
He couldn't control her. He already knew what she was about.
He was just like, let her be. Just yeah. So now that I think about it, there wasn't many deaths in this movie. There was a lot of blood.
It was just her. Well, her and
Betty Jo and Theotis.
And, yeah, they were the only ones.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to think. I was like, he didn't. So
spoiler alert: Theotis dies.
Well, this whole podcast is a spoiler alert.
Right.
Oh, we saw this movie. I should have said this at the beginning on Paramount Plus. We signed up for that free week. And then, yeah, I might keep it a little bit longer because there's some other stuff on there I want to see.
I was like, ooh, they have this movie. Ooh, they have this movie.
Somebody had it free on YouTube, but every time I tried to log in to see it, it said I needed to prove my age. It's like I'm signed into the account right now. There were always some kind of problem. So they're shadow banning JD's Revenge.
Yeah, I can understand that. Those haters out there.
See, I wonder though, like how I saw this movie as a kid, like what did they cut out? They had to cut out the nudity. And there's some language in it that they would have had to cut out because this was on NBC local, but it had that.
No. They let that. There was nothing in there that I don't think that they didn't say on TV back in '76.
But before the FCC came in and changed everything.
Right. Come on. Yeah.
Especially
Archie Bunker was still on TV then.
Oh man.
Like the clip from Bugs Bunny that we saw today.
Oh yeah, Deborah forgot about that scene when Bugs Bunny shoots the guy coughing. He's playing piano up on stage, and the guy keeps
the missing
coughing.
Episode.
Yeah, and he just shoots out into the crowd and shoots the guy coughing.
I was like, what?
Woo!
And back then it was just like, it's funny.
Well, because it is funny, but all right. So going back to JD's Revenge, JD finally takes over completely, and he gets this tan color suit going on, and he's got his hair done, and the hat and everything like that. And the actor that played JD completely changed, like his expressions on his face. The way that he was walking,
his voice
his voice. I don't know if they dubbed over his voice or if it was him, but his voice was completely different.
I think it was just he had he put a lot more emphasis in the street hustler sound.
Yes.
that look that you remember from, you know, the Black exploitation, how they wanted the hustlers to look, you know, and he embraced that completely.
He also had where he was grinding his teeth as he was talking the whole time, just kind of
talking out the side of his mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. I know jokers like that. You know, they do that so you can't ever tell them what they saying, you know, because, you know, it kind of controls their facial twitches so you can't tell when they lying.
I didn't think about that. So he goes to a club and he runs into this lady in the club, the back of the club. And he goes home with her. And
wait, what about the one chick that saw him in the suit,
like,
right?
I hadn't seen a get up like that in 25 years.
And she was like, "You all, boy."
Oh,
he was shocked.
He was putting.
I did like his outfit.
He was putting some effort into it, where everybody else was just kind of like, eh.
And then he stopped right there where that one man and lady were. I thought he was gonna like start talking to the lady.
It looked like he was gonna step in, and that guy the whole time they're there, he's just like, he's having the conversation and he's dancing the whole time on that one side. Yeah, it did look like JD was gonna step in.
He looks at her, but then he sees the other one sitting down.
Yeah,
who he actually leaves with.
Well, she
takes what he wants.
Yes.
So he didn't want that one sitting down.
And the line, I think, is from a Ghostface song. The line she says right afterwards, where she's never been done like that before.
Yeah, he's a character.
From the album Iron Man, and the song's Wildflower.
Yep.
1996. Jeez.
That's probably where he got it from.
Well, I mean, it's the exact clip. It's not even mixed in it. Like, it plays that line.
Yeah, it does.
And then the music kicks in. I'm not even going to say it, especially since my face is on here. I'm not going to say the quote where she says that's the best she's ever had. She tells him, where are you going, sugar? He says, I've got business to take care of. And that's when they actually go, and it's the final meetup. But before they get to that, her husband shows up.
Oh yeah.
Right. She said, "That's my oh man, my old man's back." You know, she's just stepping out on him like, it ain't no, you don't know when he coming back. You ain't playing this out better than this.
And then he's all calm. He's like, well, you better go talk to him.
Right.
And then the husband walks up and he's like, you got somebody in here? You're messing around on me? And JD's just standing there. He's like, yeah, I'm here. Well, so
he's all calm.
He's fixing his cufflinks and all that. Just, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's when the straight razor comes out again.
Take him to the killing floor.
Slices him across the arm. Guy goes off to the side, comes back, slices him across the other arm, comes back. He's holding both of his arms, slices him across the leg. And this is when Deborah just loses her shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see her back there, but she's look how red she's turning. Look at her.
She is.
I told her, Deborah, have you ever seen Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail?
Yes.
In her mind,
that was the same scene.
She's seen the scene when he cuts off his arm, then he keeps on chasing after it.
It's just a scratch.
I told her, Deborah, what's wrong? What's so funny? This is not funny at all.
And he gets him on the leg too. And then
well, that's what
he cut his ass up.
That's what she says. She's like, it's Monty Python. It just ruined I had to stop the movie. Had to go get some water, walk away for like 10, 15 minutes because now I'm seeing Monty Python in the middle of JD's Revenge. Man.
That's what came up when I was watching it.
See, that's what him and Lou Gossett was talking about. When he had a flashback with him or something like that with Lou Gossett, and they were talking smack back like they used to back in the day. Mm-hmm. He's talking, I'm gonna take you to the killing floor. I'm gonna cut you up every way to this day and every way. You know, that's how he did them.
Yes. Yeah, they flash back to it like 5 or 6 times, just so they could put over the killing floor. So he runs into the middle of the sermon, and he tells Reverend Bliss, He was like, I'm not looking for you. I'm looking for Theotis. Tell him to meet me on the killing floor. And Bliss sees him in the middle. He knows him as Isaac, but he sees the mannerism. He sees the eyes. He sees the spirit. And he's like, who are you? He's like, I'm JD, And then when he tells his brother, he goes, it's JD. He goes, there's no questioning it. Yeah. He goes, he says that he thinks of it as a mission from God, that he's there to let JD's spirit go free, to shake him of his torment here on Earth. He thinks it's a mission, not knowing that Theotis is really the father of his daughter.
Jeez.
And the one that killed his.
And the one that killed his.
Was it his wife?
I think they were married.
I don't know if they were married or just dating or something. I don't know. Yes.
And then so Theotis gets down there to the killing floor. It's still the same place. I guess they shut it down after JD died, or just in time as time went on. And JD confronts him. The daughter shows up. Roberta shows up. And all three of them, no, it's Bliss, Roberta, and then his brother, Theotis. They're fighting over a gun. And the whole time, JD's just standing back there like a puppet master, just watching everything going. He's dancing. He's got the razor out and just watching everything that's going. And he's not doing anything.
No.
It's them.
He orchestrated the whole thing.
Yes.
Wasn't he like spinning?
Yes.
Yeah.
And laughing at the same time?
He was crazy. That was wild.
When
he was doing the whole thing, laughing and getting it in.
That was very much a horror aspect of this movie, because it was the possession. It was it shows you how maniacal JD was, that he twisted all them into doing.
He didn't have to do
himself.
anything.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. Like, they did it all themselves.
Yeah.
Roberta thought she pulled the trigger and ended up killing Theotis. Bliss ran away, not knowing what was going on. This was the cool thing about it. This is what I alluded to at the beginning, was after everything was done, there was the older police officer who was probably like a beat cop back in the day when JD died, and he's like the chief now. And he brings up the whole story about it, tells the backstory, and you don't know who killed JD. They never proved it or anything like that. And he is like, well, from what I saw, you were just defending yourselves, and for all we know, Theotis pulled the trigger himself, killing himself. And they let Isaac go, they let Roberta go, they let Bliss go. And when the movie ends, JD's there with his family, his friends, and they're all they've forgiven him. Not JD, I'm sorry, Isaac is there. And this is what I'm saying. It's not a traditional horror story, because it technically has a happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cops just washed their hands of it and chalked it up as New Orleans bullshit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. But the killer got it. And then, but I mean, still Roberta's going to have to deal with finding out that, and that's something that Lou Gossett, Reverend Bliss, says. He was like, I raised you as my daughter and you're still my daughter.
Yeah.
And then he hugged her.
He hugged her. So, but I mean, she's still dealing with the fact that she just learned who her real father was, and she just killed him.
Man.
And then Isaac.
Well, her father killed her mother.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. Damn.
Yep.
So
JD's revenge.
So
look at Deb shaking her head.
I'm just thinking about it. I didn't think about it watching the movie. I was like, that's a lot.
A lot going on. So Cob Web, what do you give this movie out of a possible 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
All right, Deb.
I give it a 7.
Give it a 7.
I liked it, but yeah, give it a 7.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because and I messed up now I have to do math in my head.
It's 23.
It's 31.
8, 16.
I did something wrong. So, what I was gonna say though, The night before we watched this, Chuckles came over, and we tried to watch 2 other movies that were so bad. Like he picked some movies. It wasn't his fault. It was late at night or everything. And one of the movies we started watching was so bad that we just stopped it like 20 minutes into it. and this had Kane Hodder and all these people Sid Haig in it from all these horror movies. It was like they got everybody except like Robert Englund. And everybody else was in this movie, and it was just bad.
Yeah.
And then we tried to watch The Gate. And,
that old school John.
Yes. And I fell asleep like halfway through, and it was just so. The next day we watched JD's Revenge, and it was like, all right, I
made up for it.
I didn't get bored through the movie. Yeah, didn't get bored through the movie at all. It didn't lose me. There was one thing I noticed: there's no soundtrack in the movie.
Oh yeah, there was just like what do you call
There was sound effects in the movie, and the only time that there was music was when there was like when they were at a club. Or when they were passing by a radio. Other than that, the movie's completely just dialogue. And
mostly it wasn't music when it was coming out of the radio. It was the Reverend like talking when they were in the car. When he had the little radio hanging from the mirror because there was no radio in the car, man.
Yeah.
It was a big nostalgia jump for me. So that means we're giving the movie a 7.6 between the 3 of us.
That sounds about right.
For JD's Revenge.
I would say that's a good rating. Yeah, it was a good flip.
So
you think about some things.
Yes, I am going to have to throw Wildflowers in at the end of the pod.
You probably watch that mug a little bit. It's going to be one of those that you're going to be sitting back thinking about it like a couple of days later.
Yeah,
it is.
Now I understand why it's so hard to get a hold of though. My buddy over at One Up Entertainment, he says it's normally $50 to $75. And that as soon as he gets it, it's gone. Like everybody's always trying to pick it up.
Man, I can see that. Because you know what, Lou Gossett and what's the other guy that played JD, Isaac? They've been in quite a few movies together.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they've done some movies together.
His last name's Thurman.
Thurman.
Let's see what his first name is.
Glenn
Thurman. Okay, now that I see his face older, I recognize him.
Yeah, he played on A Different World, too. Yeah, the spinoff off of The Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
He was the captain or the general or something like that on the ROTC base or something like that. That was his big role when he came. I think this was like his second or third role of a movie because he played a classic role in, I forgot his name, but it was the character he played in Cooley High. And that was like, Cooley High is the shit.
He's been super active because I'm going through his pages and I'm barely down into 2012 right now.
He's been in a lot of movies.
A lot of things, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a pedigree.
Well, Zoom didn't kick us out in 40 minutes.
That's because everybody wants to be on the cast of the pod.
There you go.
That's why. Okay, let's be honest. Zoom ain't gonna stop us.
There you go.
Can't nobody stop us.
Yeah, true.
Then it doesn't even give the word. Oh man. But yeah, man, this was. I'm glad you brought this movie up because I had forgot about it. Like I said, up until the scene with the lady in the taxi, and it's. I don't know. The word's nostalgic, but I mean, looking back at the, not even when you're watching the movie, just looking at the world around the movie. You know what I mean? Just brought memories back, and I need to start looking into the older stuff again.
Yep.
Oh, you can get into some of that black exploitation stuff. You can go bananas in that stuff. That stuff they used to do in the 70s. Come on.
The last thing I saw like that, not counting like Dolomite stuff or Superfly or any, you know what I mean? The last thing was Jive Turkey. The movie is called Jive Turkey. We have a Alamo Draft House down here, and they used to have this thing called Weird Wednesdays where they would show 70s style, 60s style, just crazy movies. And there was no cover. You just had to buy 2 drinks. And yeah. Was it Jive Turkey or Jive Talking?
think it was Turkey.
Talking.
It might be Jav talking.
Yeah, because Jive Turkey, I'm thinking of Semi-Pro, that Will Ferrell movie.
Oh.
Yeah, you call somebody a Jav turkey, that's no good.
Have you seen that movie, Semi-Pro?
Oh yes, I've seen Semi-Pro. Semi-Pro is hilarious. That's corn dogs. Everybody now.
The movie, it is Jive Turkey. It was released
It is
November
Jive Turkey?
1974.
See, I knew she'd look it up, though, just to prove me wrong.
She got both of us on that one. Don't question the Deb. She be on those Googles.
Now she's going to have me put that on the shirt. Don't question the Deb.
Yeah, right. She'll pull it out quick on you. You question Deb, and next thing you know, she like, "What'd you say?"
That was straight edge razor that JD had. Have you ever heard? I think her name's Josie Miles from I think like the 20s, and she's got a song talking about I'll cut you with a straight edge razor, up, down, left, right, north, south, deep and long, and it's that era of music, and it's they talk about how violent music is now and what's going on in it. But look up Josie Mills.
What you gonna do, boy? I'm gonna cut your nappy head 4 different ways. Long, short, deep, and wide. When I get through using my black hair razor, you know you're gonna take a ride. If you're gonna touch me, I'm gonna cut A, B, C, D, and the top of your head. That's gonna...
And she's got like 2 volumes of music. And then she talks about blood running through the streets and how she wants to set the world on fire. And it's just, yes.
See, that's that hardcore stuff, man. Those guys back in the day, some of those old musicians, man, it's hilarious. If you guys ever get a chance, if you ever heard of it, I'm not sure if you ever seen Tales from the Tour Bus.
No.
Those, oh my God. Those are hilarious. They're like animated movies by Mike Judd on documentaries about music artists, right? And they give like, autobiography about how the artist is, and they have the artist actually telling the story about their life. But in the process, it's all animated like, Mike Judd stuff,
So going back to that movie, Jive Turkey, they changed the name of it.
To what?
To Baby Needs a New Pair of Shoes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Is that why I can't find it now? Because I've been looking to download it.
It's on Tubi and Amazon Prime.
Oh, wow.
They changed the name.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know how like some movies have 2 names? Like they have a name and then later they change it.
You ever seen Blood In, Blood Out?
No.
That was originally called Bound by Honor.
Oh, what's that one movie with Christian Slater? Like Gleaming the Cube? Is it Gleaming the Cube?
The skater movie. It was a brother's love.
And then they changed it.
I remember them saying that. I remember that.
Yeah.
So this one was called Jive Turkey, and then they changed it to Baby Needs a New Pair of Shoes.
So when we saw it, all this. Yeah, when we saw
it, the Mandela effect.
Yeah, don't even go there, man. Didn't they just do CERN last week? All right, y'all. So thanks for listening to Cast of the Pod this week. We were talking about JD's Revenge from 1976. Cob Web, you have anything you want to end it with?
Don't get hypnotized in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing it until I saw this movie. Then I was like, nope. And I'm not going to take an Uber either. Nope. No Ubers for me.
Cob Web, I didn't know, we hadn't talked about it or anything like that. But did you want to throw any of your social media links out or anything?
Oh, yeah. You can hit me off at Instagram, cobweb411. And that's pretty much it. You can catch me right there. That's the Instagram logo and Facebook as well.
All right.
Facebook is just Cob Web. Yeah, it's Cob Web. Cob Web on Facebook and cobweb411 on Instagram.
Awesome.
Because I got that information for you.
Awesome. I was going to ask if that's what you meant by 411. And then for Cast of the Pod, everything is Cast of the Pod. All right. So until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Deb.
I'm Cob Web.
Peace. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.